What's up guys, AJ here, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to call new expired listings. This is listings that just hit the market, and make sure you stay all the way till the end because I'm going to give you access to all of my scripts that helped me make multiple six figures a year selling real estate. So stay tuned. So the first thing I want to address is how expireds react when you initially call them. Just think about it. Imagine you were going about your day and you got a call randomly about your house that just failed to sell. You got to think of it like their house failed to sell. They had somewhere to go. So they're probably going to be a bit frustrated. The more frustrated they are, the more likely they had a lot of motivation to sell their house. So be sure when they start throwing up what I call that reflex no. You know, it's like you go to the mall or somewhere to buy a pair of jeans and the salesperson asks you, hey, is there anything that you're looking for? And you're like, no, just looking. But you know very well you just came in to look for some jeans, right? So we all have this reflex no. So as soon as you call them, they're gonna have this reflex no. And they're gonna say, I'm not interested in selling my house. I'm taking it off the market. The first thing they tell you is probably not the truth. They're probably just trying to get you off the phone. So I want you to remember that. And remember, when they're a little bit angry, a little bit upset, frustrated, be on their side. Don't challenge their thought process. A lot of repeating and affirming goes a long way. So if they say, you know what, we're just frustrated with the whole process, we're going to take it off the market. Part of the script is repeating and affirming. Hey, Mr. Seller, I completely understand that it's a frustrating process and that you just want to take it off the market. Totally get it. But just out of curiosity, if the home had sold, where were you moving to next? It's part of the script, and you're going to get my entire script book for expireds at the end of the video, so stay tuned. And know this too, the difference between new expireds and old expireds is new expireds are likely getting a lot of calls the first day. So that's going to add to their frustration. So expect them to get a lot of calls, and you want to start early. I'd start at 8 a.m. Your call blocks every day should be between 8 and 11. If you've currently been doing, say, 9 to 12, bump it up to 8. Because what I've found is between 8 and 9, your contact rate's higher, so you're talking to more people. You're catching them before they get to work. So this is a crucial part of prospecting, that 8 to 9 is like calling for 2 hours from 10 to 12. It's honestly that effective. I hope you're already using a dialer. I hope you already have a data provider because you've watched some of my previous videos. But if you haven't, those are some important things, and I'll link in the description to some tools that I use. So just know when calling expireds, you might get the wrong name. So for example, if their name comes up as Robert, but they go by Bill, and you say, hi, is Robert there? That's automatically going to raise a red flag that, hey, this is a telemarketing call. So how do you avoid that? So if I'm unsure of what they might go by, or maybe it's a female that picks up and it's a male name because you're talking to the wife versus the husband, or maybe it's a name you can't pronounce, or like I said, if it's a William and they go by Bill, or a Robert and they go by Bill, or whatever it might be, this is how you handle that. So you see the name, they pick up, you say, hey, I'm not sure if you can help me. I'm calling about a home that recently came off the market at 123 Main Street. By any chance, is that your property? So instead of saying their name like a normal telemarketer would, you're saying, I'm not sure if you can help me. Because most people want to help, right? So when you say, I'm not sure if you can help me, automatically, subconsciously, they're thinking, okay, this person needs help. How can I help them? So it's like a pattern interrupt, and you sound different from anyone else that might be calling them. So that's just a little pro tip right there. All right, what do we got next? Part of my workflow every day was calling the new expireds twice. So the first thing I would do is call the new expireds. Once I called them all, I would call them a second time. And this does a couple things. Well, they might have been busy the first time you called, right? Also, when you get that number that's calling you a couple times, you're like, who is this? Like, what do they need? So you answer that second time just because you're curious? Well, that's what it does. So say you have 20 new expireds that hit the market. Maybe it's the first of the month, so you get more the first of the month, the 15th, and the 30th, because that's typically, when agents, put them to set to expire is on those even dates. So it's usually a little more heavy for new expireds those days. So, get excited and plan for that. By calling the new expireds twice back to back, I'm telling you, your contact rate is going to go up significantly. So let's talk about objection handlers. I found there's about 6 main ones. And the crazy thing is, as old as the real estate industry is, from the beginning of the real estate industry, there's been expireds, right? Well, the the objections never really changed. They've kind of always been the same. So if the objections are the same and there's 6 main objections, don't you think it'd be a huge benefit for you to actually learn the 6 objection handlers? And it's not that hard, guys. We have an opportunity in real estate to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I mean, that's a pretty good income, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's excellent. And if you were an actor or an actress, I mean, you would spend hours and hours, days and days studying your scripts, right? Why as real estate agents do we not practice our scripts and memorize them? And there's just 6 and they don't change. These are in no particular order, but the first one I want to cover is I'm going to stay with the same agent. You're going to get that a lot. I'm going to stay with the same agent. A lot of times, sellers don't think the reason their house didn't sell was because of their agent, and oftentimes it is. Now, of course, every time it's not because of the agent, but more often than not, it is. It could be a variety of things. It could be, the photography, it could be the marketing, it could be the price. And these are all things that the agent has to recognize and be able to get their clients to understand what needs to happen in order for it to sell. So 99% of the time, regardless of the reason it didn't sell, it's the agent's fault. They're the professional. They need to be consulting their client. And of course, the client might not always use their advice. I get that. We all get that as agents. But sometimes they just need a new approach, right? So that's an objection handler you're going to learn, and you're going to get these in that free download at the end. You're going to get, I'm taking it off the market. They just had enough. They're frustrated. They're gonna take it off the market. And then if you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes and you follow up with them a month later, they tell you they just relisted it 2 weeks ago. Because when they say they're just taking it off the market, it's a reflex no. Yeah, they're taking it off the market, but they're going to sell it again soon. So you need to be prepared how to handle this objection, how to keep the conversation going versus just getting off the phone. The third, I'm going to sell it myself. Hey, I can totally get that. If I was a seller and my agent just failed me, I might be giving up on all real estate agents. I might be thinking, hey, my real estate agent did nothing. I can sell it myself. So again, we need to know how to handle that objection so we can let them know that we're not like the other agent. We're different than all other agents. We get homes sold. We specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time they're on the market. So this is a great one. You'll get it a lot, so make sure that you know it and you master it. Number 4, I've already found another agent. Now this one does come up, and it's interesting because their house just came off the market, but a lot of times the client is looking for a new agent before the house expires. So this one can be a little delicate because if they already have a contract signed, well, then it's hands off, right? We need to be ethical as agents. We need to follow the NAR code of ethics. So if they already have a contract signed, it's hands off. But if they say they've just already found another agent, they might be saying, hey, I seen a sign down the street and it looks like that home sold pretty fast, so I'm going to call that agent when we're ready. They may have never even met with another agent, but they say they found one. So the first thing you need to ask is, awesome, just out of curiosity, have you already signed a contract? That's the first part of the objection handler, and then you go into the next part of it. I need to speak with my spouse first. Now that's kind of an easy one to get off the hook. You can just say, oh, well, I need to speak to my spouse first. That's a strategy. You got to remember that sellers have their own scripts, right? So that one's a super simple one to handle. It's kind of revolves around this idea of, hey, let's just get it penciled in. So there's a script that you follow, but the premise is let's just pencil it in. When you say let's just pencil it in, it doesn't seem as concrete. Then it gives them permission that, hey, it's not a hard appointment, and then they can confirm it with their spouse. 9 times out of 10, when you pencil it in, they're going to keep the appointment. This is a golden line that I want you to use. And last but not least, and this one typically comes with the most frustration, but it's, where were you when my house was on the market? Now this one can stump agents a lot of the time. They don't know what to say, and that's why it's so important that you have these objection handlers up while you're prospecting. And this one's really easy to handle also. But again, it's going to take some practice. You're going to need to get a role play partner. You're going to need to write the scripts out, chant them out loud to memorize them. And once you memorize them, they become part of you. You internalize them, and it's not robotic. Objection handlers are fantastic to use, but I want you to understand the difference between an objection and a condition. Oftentimes we get conditions and they're disguised as an objection, and agents can confuse the two of them, right? So a condition would be something like, hey, we're taking it off the market for the next couple months because we're in the middle of a kitchen renovation. We're taking it off the market right now because we just got a tenant in the property. Maybe it's a rental. Or, hey, we're taking it off the market right now because we just found out there's a lien on the home. Whatever the reason might be, think, is this a real reason why they cannot sell the house right now? If that's the case, simply go to close as a nurture. You just want to get them as a nurture to put in your nurture farm, and I'll give you the script for that in a second. If you're getting value from this video, give me a thumbs up. Any questions you have, throw them in the comments. And as always, subscribe to the channel, guys, because it really helps out with that YouTube algorithm, and we like for that to give us good vibes so more agents can get this content. So last but not least, remember that most phone calls do not end in an appointment set. So you got to have a clear plan, a clear goal on how you want the call to end, right? And you need a follow-up plan to convert the people who don't set an appointment on that first call into appointments. So I want you to think of this nurture concept, creating a nurture farm. So at the end of the call, when it's very clear you're not going to get the appointment, you can say something like, hey, real quick, Mr. Seller, if they're trying to rush you off the phone, hey, just real quick, one more thing. Or if it's kind of dragging on and you're ready to go, because some people will talk your ear off. So you can say, hey, real quick, I gotta run, but just out of curiosity, hey, when you're ready to get this home sold in the fall, when your kids get back to school, so you can repeat their motivation, so whatever it is, hey, real quick, when you're ready to get the home sold, are you open to interviewing me for the job of selling your house, or do you already have an agent in mind? You want to figure out if they're listing with an agent who they already have a personal relationship with. Maybe it's a family member, a neighbor. The reality is most people are not going to risk that relationship. They don't want to tick their neighbor off. They don't want to upset their family, so they're going to stick with that agent. If it's clear that they don't have a tight relationship with somebody already, then you want to follow up with them even if they say that they won't interview you. And the reason for that is they might just say that because they're frustrated, but as you follow up with them over time, maybe send them some postcards, handwritten note, it really warms them up to you and they will interview you. But more times than not, they'll agree to interviewing you. That's when it becomes a nurture, and then you get their email. So this is the whole script uninterrupted. Hey, Mr. Seller, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're busy and I got to run too, but just out of curiosity, when you're ready to sell your house in the fall, are you open to interviewing me for the job to get it sold, or do you already have an agent in mind? Awesome. Hey, well, what I'd like to do is send you some information. Would that be okay? Once they say yes to that, you go for the email because they think you're just going to send it to them, so they're always going to say yes, whereas most people will say no if you just come out and ask them for their email. That's a pro tip. So once they say yes, you say, okay, great, what's your best email? And that script will also be in the downloads, guys, so you can get that there. Again, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I promised you a free script download, so I put together an expired mini course that's completely free in the description. Go ahead and click that link, and you'll see as soon as you register, as soon as you get logged in, there's going to be a PDF on the right-hand side of all the scripts. So go ahead and get in there, download them, learn them, master them, put them up on your wall, and go out there and crush some expireds today because your goals are too important not to do this, guys. You got this. We'll see you next time.